everyone, my name is Hugh Blaine. I'm the President and CEO of Claris Consulting, and this is my video blog. For some of you, you will remember a movie called A Few Good Men, and in that movie there was Jack Nicholson, and he had this great line. You remember that? He was being interrogated by Tom Cruise on cross-examination, and Jack Nicholson screamed at him, "You can't handle the truth!" Well, I want to talk to you today about the truth. And the good news is, I know that you can handle this, and so I'm kind of excited about kind of jumping in there. I'm going to try and make this a short video blog because I think that it's something that we can get fairly quickly. So let me just do this. When I was a kid growing up, I'm going to go back 40 some odd years, my mom, she used to have this admonition. She would come to me and she would say, "Hugh, there are three sides to every story. There is your side, there's the other person's side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth." Holy smokes, is that the truth? And so that's one of the things that I now look at and say, you know what, that really makes a lot of sense to me. One of the things that I'm finding is that we as a society have become really polarized in a lot of regards. And we look at each other's interpretations, not as just an interpretation, but we look at it as the truth. For example, there are some people that believe that all, and I'm using the word in all caps and in bold, all Christians are fundamentalists. That all Muslims are extremists and are terrorists. That all Republicans are fanatical, and that all Democrats are just liberal. When those become polarized viewpoints and they are expressed as the truth, then it's really hard to bring in the other perspectives, like my mom used to say, which is, well, there's your truth, there's somebody else's truth, and then somewhere in the middle there is something that's probably closer to the truth. So let me tell you about what happens in organizations. Whenever the truth is delivered by a team leader or a team member and says, "Let me tell you why this is not working. It is because of this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, and this reason." When the delivery is made in such a way that it is black and white and that there is no room for conversation, then what some members of the team will do is they will sit back and they'll go, "Okay, fine. That's what the truth is, and so I'm not being invited into this conversation, so I'm just going to pull back and I'm going to disengage." And the moment that happens, you're losing access to some of the greatest talents and skills because people's brains have basically shut off. So what do? A couple things is I would recommend that you do is, number one, understand that human beings are interpreting machines. Is that every single day that we go out, we look at other people's clothes, we look at other people's cars, and we make judgments about so many things every single day. I'm not going to criticize that. That's just kind of like human nature. But the moment that we do that and we make an interpretation and then we label it as the truth, then what's happening is we're stifling other voices coming into the conversation, and all of a sudden the level of growth and innovation is going to go down inside the team because all of a sudden it is one viewpoint that says this is the truth. Not a truth, not my truth, but the truth. The second thing to consider is for you to give voice to your truth. Not the truth, but just your truth. The way that I see this is this. I see it this way, and because my experience has been that I'm going to take ownership for the way that I interpret things and just label it as my truth. And I'm going to do that for the very distinct purpose of not trying to impose my truth on others, because the moment I do that, people shut down. So, and another thing to think about is, you know, people are kind of curious. I mean, if you really think about it, people do things for a reason. Oftentimes, leaders and other team members just don't know what the reason is. So you need to be really curious, and I'm going to beat on this word because I think that all leaders and all team members need to be really curious about why people do what they do. So, and if you want to be more effective in your relationships, be curious and ask some questions. So then what you also need to do is just, do you understand the other person's truth? Have you done any investigation into that? Have you asked any questions like, well, that's interesting. You know, I saw the exact same thing that you did, and I interpreted it a different way. So help me understand what you saw and how did you interpret it, because that's really interesting. I just did it differently. So, and then what you've got is you've got a real dialogue taking place, not a monologue of one person saying absolutes. So this whole thing around truth is very much about delivery. It's very much about intent. But if I want to do just one thing in this video blog is I wanted to present this whole notion that there's multiple truths there, and if you're on a team and if you're a leader, you have to be able to manage those, interrogate them, and really make sure that you understand them in order to move forward. Now, let me also say this truth. My truth is that I don't know whether or not you do any of this. I don't know whether or not you're very judgmental and you interpret things. You may not be. But what I'm saying is that this is the truth that I'm experiencing in organizations, and it is absolutely inhibiting the innovation and the growth. This is also a conversation starter, so what I'm hoping is that you'll kind of be engaged with this and then say, I'm going to go on the blog and really tell him what I'm thinking about, because I want to hear from you. So that's it. That's about truth. My truth anyway. I'd love to hear your truth. And on that note, I'm going to say this. I really hope that you make today at work, at home, wherever it may be, a truly remarkable day. So that's it. I'll talk to you very soon. Have a great day.